this video is going to be all about geometry terms. So let's look at these terms first. The first one we got is a point. It's an exact spot in space. Now when I say space, I don't mean outer space with the stars and the planets. I mean a location. And if you look at the picture right beside of it here, I have 4 dots. These are points. And beside them is a letter, and that is how we label them. So this point right here is point A, this one's point B, this one's point C, this one's point D. And when we talk about a point, we are talking about that spot in space on our piece of paper, that one spot. When I am writing it, I accept a couple of different ways. You can say point A like that, or you can spell out point A on your papers just as fine. If you're reading them out loud, you would just say point B or point C, whatever point they are. The next one is a line. A line is a straight line of points that continues without ending and in both directions. So it goes forever. It never ends. And the way that we would draw that is we would have a line with an arrow at the end of the each end of the line to show that it goes on forever. We don't have enough room to show it going on forever. Now, most of the time you'll see them labeled with 2 points like this. So most of the time you'll see them labeled like so that you know which line we're talking about, especially if we're looking at pictures, we have to identify lines. If you're writing, if you want to like write which line you're talking about, you would draw just a small little line, and then you would write the letter name, the 2 letters, sorry, that go with that line. It can be written anyway. It really doesn't matter. So if I were to say this, it would be line AB or line BA. It doesn't really matter when you're talking about a line. But the big thing that you need to remember with a line is that it goes forever in both directions. So you would expect to see 2 arrows at the end of that straight line. Now the next word is line segment. A line segment is a part of a line between 2 points. So it's just a chunk of a line. It's like if somebody came and snipped or cut out a section of a line and you just want to look at that one section. So if you look at our example here, at the end of a line segment, you'll see 2 dots because you're just looking at the section between those 2 dots. If I wanted to write the name of this line segment, there's 2 different ways, just like with a regular line. You would just draw a little line segment on top of the 2 letters how that a line segment is labeled. It doesn't matter what letter comes first. So this would be line segment AB or line segment BA. The next word we're going to look at is ray. Now a ray is a little different. It has one endpoint and it continues on without ending in one direction, so the other direction. What I tell the students is that it has a beginning, but it has no end. So it would have a beginning, it has a point like here, but then it has an arrow at the other end to show that it's going on forever in that one direction. Most of the time these are labeled. It could be labeled with 1 letter or it could be labeled with 2. It doesn't really matter. To write these, you would just say A, B, or ray, A. Now notice that the first letter I wrote is A, because in this point I need to know where the ray starts. So that ending point, however they label it, they could put a T there, they could put a D there, it doesn't matter. I have to write down the point name first, or I could just write down the name of that endpoint. Either way is acceptable. The next word we're going to look at is angle. An angle is formed by 2 arrays that have the same endpoint. So if you're looking at this angle down here, this one is AQR. If you see that this is 2 different rays. Here's one right here. And the second one is right here. And if you notice, they both start at the same point, Q, right there. Now, when I am labeling an angle name, I have three options. I can label it P, Q, R, or I can label it R, Q, P, or I can label it just Q. But what you need to recognize is that the Q, that endpoint, is in the middle of the two letters. You can change the place where the P is, you could change the place where the R is, it doesn't matter, but the Q must be in the center of this name. Now, let's look at a figure. Let's look at this slide over here. What you'll see in fourth grade is this figure right here, where you'll have a picture and you have to identify what is on that picture. So let's look at this one. It says, the first question says, name all the points. Well, you got a point A, you got a point B, you got a point C, you got a point D, you got a point E, and you got a point F. So those are all the points on this figure. Now, the next question says to name any three rays. Let me get a bigger eraser here. Now, there could very possibly be more than three arrays, and I could be missing one of the rays, but that's okay. So let's see here. I'm looking at, endpoint B here. I could go this way with it. See how it has an arrow at the end of it? Or I can go the opposite way, going from B over to this one. Or I can even start at B and go up through E up here. So in this case, it would be ray BE, ray BC, ray BA. As long as I start with my endpoint being the first letter that I write, I'm safe. Now, let's look at the next question. The next question says, name any two line segments. Here we go. I'm looking for two dots, a line that has two dots. So here we go, A, B. That section right there would be a line section or line segment. Here's another one, BF. I can even do BC. I could do BD, and I could do BE. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 line segments right there, but I only have to do two. So I'm just going to write, just going to choose any two. And again, it really doesn't matter which letter goes first. All right, the next one says name the line in two ways. All right, so here we go. Remember, a line is a straight line that has arrows at the end. So let's see, I only see one, and it's right here. So I could label this line AC would be one way, or I can label the line CA as a second way. Let's look at another one of these. All right, it says name the line that contains the point Q. Well, here's the point Q, and I'm looking for a line that has two arrows at the end of it. Well, if I go this way with Q and V, that's really just one big ray. It doesn't have two arrows. It has a point at one end and an arrow at the next. But if I look over here, this one has two arrows on each end. So Q is on line TS. Now the next question says, name two opposite rays. Let me get my pen back up here. So I must be looking for two rays that are going in the opposite direction. So you know what? I think I found one right here. Starting with Q and going through to T like that, then starting at Q again and going to S. So you could say ray Q T and ray Q S. Then it says name the endpoint of ray QT. Well, the endpoint would be Q. Then it says name all the points that lie on the line ST. And I know this is hard to read, but this is two arrows at the end of that. So we got S, Q, and T are the points that are on that line.